there is a little bit of a debate going on about whether, let's say, an artist or a creator should be making pure art on the one hand, or they can afford to also make some promotional material or marketing on the other. What are the ideas on both sides? On the one hand, maybe some, let's say, classical actors or singers would warn against an artist putting themselves before the audience all the time because they would lose some sort of air of mystery and intrigue. They wouldn't be so grandiose if people got to see them in their mundane living. On the other hand, and this is especially true for someone starting out a new business for themselves, they need more of a viewership, more support, hopefully to get to the point where they can do what they love for a living. And this is especially true in the modern age with social media and algorithms. We need to produce not only quality but also quantity. So between those two, I'm leaning more towards the second option. As a beginner artist, I think I have more to benefit from reaching out to the audience more. Now, let's get back to the point of personality. I have a counter argument, actually. To me, as a poet that I've made some poetry performances, I would feel somewhat uncomfortable if I didn't show more of my personality outside of my art. My art is very much authentic, but there's also how I function in normal everyday society. And I would want the people who come across this art to feel comfortable addressing me as a person. If they have a question or a comment, or if they want to work together on something, why not feel comfortable approaching me? I'm starting to think of Keanu Reeves at the moment. So I think he's a great example of someone that holds contact with the audience and doesn't lose anything for it, but gains by it. On the other hand is the question of quality. If an artist started making more quantity, does it mean that the quality of his or her work would decline? And again, I would initially say no, because there are different branches of art that could be made. So in my case, the main one would be the poetry. Another type is philosophical videos that I could do, or maybe book reviews from the perspective of a writer. That's what would make them unique and original. Or there's this element that I'm finding the most interesting at the moment. My channel is called Poetry in Play. What about when I'm out and about, let's say I visit nature, and some inspiration takes over, and I start playing with the environment or playing out a scene, as anyone could do really. Like, you go to the park and maybe you start playing with anyone there, maybe with your friends, if you're a parent, maybe with the kids. There are so many great moments that happen off camera that are never captured, then they fade out of memory because nobody was ready, nobody was anticipating it. I would even recommend to anybody, you don't have to consider yourself an artist. You could maybe work in any field, but you know how to make a joke, you know how to laugh, you know how to play a game, you know how to see something inspirational and say, look there. You come up with thoughts about it that are original. It would be great for at least somebody around to have a camera on the phone and to be able to pull it out and start recording. If you say, hey, something amazing is happening over there, get ready, and they start shooting the scene. So this would be the part poetry in play. And this play is just as good as any planned poem, I think. So does that mean the quality is deteriorated because I went on vacation somewhere and filmed a little bit and spoke over the audio? Absolutely not. Another advantage of making more poetry videos would be learning more about how a camera functions. So what do I do with the exposure, the white balance, on my camera it's called the iris the shutter speed and all that, and post-production, how to direct first of all, and then afterwards produce some of these videos so that the production value increases, and also how to behave in front of the camera. How would I get more comfortable speaking if I didn't practice it more, right? So the only drawback, again returning to a previous argument, is if the quantity starts exceeding the quality, meaning so many videos are being made instead of maybe 1 per week, all of a sudden now they've become 5 per week, and it's cutting into the time for producing the art, then that would be the drawback, because it starts being quite random, I would say, and the best parts are never produced. I think it's right to work on art, but also, as others have mentioned, to develop the business aspect of it, because the ultimate goal is to be able to sustain ourselves so we could work more on our art. So that would be the proper balance, I think.